Isur, that the Isur was not spread. So Tosfos now wants to get a very, Tosfos' question pushes it to say a very big Yisur. What's Tosfos' question? Tosfos says, our Gemara says that there is two things. Beis Din does not make a decree, court doesn't make a decree, unless they estimate that the majority of the congregation can accept it. And if the majority of the congregation accepts it and it's been spread, you can never nullify it even with Elijah the prophet. However, if it wasn't spread, which means we found that the Beis Din was mistaken, the estimation was mistaken. The Jewish people didn't accept, they thought the Jewish people can accept it, they estimate that. That's why they went forward with the decree. And the reality was that people could not handle it. And they didn't accept it. The majority didn't accept it. It wasn't spread. So the Gemara says that's the reason why Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, which is the grandson of Rabbi Yehuda, he was smaller in strength and numbers of his grandfather Rabbi Yehuda. And there's Rabbi Yehuda Anosi and Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Rabbi Yehuda Anosi was a grandfather, and Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was his grandson. He nullified the Gzeir of Shemin even when he was smaller than him. Why? But the factor was, the Gemara says, it wasn't spread. The Easter was not spread.
Who did the Mishnayos?
Rabbi Yehuda Anosi.
Not Rabbi Yehuda.
Rabbi is Rabbi Yehuda Anosi. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was the grandson. Rabbi Yehuda Anosi was a Tana. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was an Amoira. Now,
people take up the then it falls off. And
then what?
it's spread, taken up by the people, but then follow.
That's the Rambam. We're going to talk about it today. That's my goal. That's how I didn't start the Shir on time. So I was looking for the Rambam to print it for this for you. There's a few points we have to clarify. It's one of the things we have to clarify. But first, let's start with Puzbul. Today's has a kasha with Puzbul. Puzbul is a takana that Hillel made that you give over a report of your debts and a document to court, and then Shviz doesn't nullify it. And Shmuel said this was Hillel. Hillel Azokin made that decree. For the benefit of Baruch, because lenders didn't want to lend money, they know that Shemitah comes after nullify the debts, and they didn't want. So then they fix it by giving over the debts to the court. But Shmuel came later on and says, this is a shame of court, that the court made such a decree, because you're bypassing the main goal of the Torah, people should trust Hashem. And he said, if Hashem will give me power to be stronger than the Hillel Azokin, I will nullify it. One second. So there's a problem. What's the case? If it was spread, we learned that you can never nullify it. And if it didn't spread, if it's spread, you can never nullify it. Even if he's stronger than Hillel. And if it wasn't spread, I don't need to be stronger than Hillel. Even smaller can do it. So what Shmuel said, if I had strength more than Hillel, I would cancel it. You don't need to be more. Because if it was not spread, I don't need to be more. And if it's spread, even if I'm more, I cannot cancel. So what's going on? That's Tosfos' question. So what do you want to say, Alan?
But the reason that it is not spread because many people take advantage of the situation. They will come to you in 5 or 6 years and like money. I know that the next year the money is gone. Why you don't say this the share of the people? The court have to make this kind of decrees.
I don't understand what you said. I heard every word you said, but that's not what you want to say.
It's a share of the court. I think it's a share of the people. Because people, if there's no such deed,
No.
people will just
No. It's the court. Court are responsible. When the people go down in level, the court that takes care of it is the problem. Who is the problem? Children or the father? The rabbi or the student? The rabbi. He's the smart man. He's the one in charge. The responsibility is on him.
So we said that
Shame of court of the judges. Via Shloima. He just answers.
So what is the other side of the already spread? So
if it's spread, you can never nullify it. And if it wasn't spread, I don't need to be stronger than the previous court. The Shloima, Taisus now makes a new point because of this question. The Shloima. We have to see the Rambam. The Shloima. The Ochenam here also. Mitam, from the reason that I poshat Geida, for the reason that it wasn't spread alone, Loiti, he didn't permit. This now makes a new observation. When a Gemara says, you know why oil, the decree of oil, not to eat the oil of Gentiles. Rabbi Yehuda and Nisia nullified that decree because it wasn't spread. He says, although the Gemara says because it wasn't spread, it's not the only reason. It's just part of the reason. The Ochenam here also. Mitam de posha, from the reason that the decree of oil was not spread, Geida alone, Lohiti, he didn't permit, Rabbi didn't permit, Im loyo gam ken tam. It wasn't there another reason of then Roy Batsibu Yechoilim Lamon. Then the majority of the congregation could not handle it, cannot hold on to it. Aval but Puzbu, nay truly Deloy Poshat, although it wasn't spread. Kolmokim, however, Roy Batsibu, the majority of the congregation, Yechoilim Lamon boy, they could stand with it. Stop. What Tosfos answers? Tosfos says, when we said oil was nullified, and Tosfos added even bread, the decree of bread was nullified because it wasn't spread. It was not the only reason. That's the truth reason. It wasn't spread, and the reason was it wasn't spread, not because there was wars and technical problems. No, the Jewish people couldn't hold on to it. It was too hard for them to hold on. Which means the estimation of court, and they thought that the Jewish people will accept and they can hold on to it, was a mistake. So two things. Number one, reality wasn't spread, and the reason wasn't spread without a technical problem was something in essence. That the Jewish people couldn't hold on to that. It was too hard, the decree was too hard on them. Not to eat bread of goyim, and they now live in exile, it's too hard for them. Although they can accept it in their heart and agree it's the right thing, but they couldn't hold on to it. So it wasn't spread, and it was kosher adobo. It was kasher, was hard. Let tzibur lamoy bo. It was hard for the tzibur, the congregation, to hold on to it.
Not to have the iPhone. So they say they didn't start it, right?
I don't know. Right, in a way it's true. When I started Israeli Yeshiva, I made a rule. You're not allowed to be with a smartphone. Came the Corona. People had to have phones. There's a quarantine, stories, and they couldn't learn together, so they had to have a phone and hear through the phone, a Zoom and phone to connect the classes. And then when the Corona stopped, everybody stayed with their smartphones. So I said, how can I have smartphone in the yeshiva? People can have focus them in the smartphones. They have TikTok, they have Instagram, they have YouTube, and many other things that disturbs their concentration of the people learning Torah.
It makes you dumb.
Right. So lately I went and I made now a new rule that you have to give over your phone, but it was very hard. And I said, no, nobody's allowed to bring it anymore. I was talking to myself. People couldn't hold on to us. Too big of a need, or too big of a yetzirah, both. So the point is here, Shemen, Bruce Bultoisa says, and Shemen, it's not enough that the tzibur wasn't spread, Stam wasn't spread. The reason why it wasn't spread because it was too hard for the people to hold on to it. So then they permitted it. So he says the same thing as Bruce, so that's why by oil and by bread, the decree was not spread because it was too hard. But by Puzbul wasn't spread, but not because it was too hard. It wasn't spread. People lazy, technical problems. But really the congregation could hold on to it. give over the debts and collect. This is Toys's answer. But Ted doesn't like this answer. Mikol Mokom, however, Koshe, it's hard. The Dovo Temu, this is something that's weird, a wonder. Eich loy posha, why didn't spread? Why the Takona Pusbul didn't spread? Me'achar, since Shu Revach HaMalvim, because it's the benefit of the lender, that it is unnullified. So why didn't spread? Therefore, Toysus concludes another reason. Lekach nire. Therefore, Toysus retracts from the first answer, and he says, this is the answer. Lekach nire, therefore, looks like the Vadai Pusbul Poshat. Really, Pusbul was spread. Oil wasn't spread. Bread of grain was not spread. But Pusbul was spread. Ooh. So therefore what? If it was spread, we have a problem. So why Shmuel said it's a shame of the judges. If I had more strength than Hillel, I'll nullify. You can't. If it's spread, you can't nullify even if you're stronger than Hillel. Answer is, when the kasha lechon, you have a question of you God or even you greater. How can you nullify it? If we're spread, you can nullify it. How do we know this rule? Because the Gemara says by the 18 Xeros of the students of Shammai Hillel, since you're spread, you cannot nullify. He says no, doesn't mean that. Only in the 18 decrees of the students of Shammai and Hillel, specifically when it was spread, we said because we're spread, even Elijah the prophet will come, cannot nullify it. Only there. Why? Only there they said, Elijah will come, the Yoiman would say that it's nullified and Shoimlo, you don't listen to him. The Yerushalmi gives us the reason. Atam, Yerushalmi and Shabbos. The reason because the rabbis had to put their life at stake. They had to put a sword. Put a sword. No. Look in the last line of Tosis. Pirush shenotzu chere beis hamedrash. He took a sword in the yeshiva, and they said anyone who doesn't listen to it is going to be killed. Which means the last line in Tosis quotes. Shalmin explain what it means. Because they caused their danger of life on it. Shalom Dolohem, the 18 decrees was spread only because their soul means and their soul means they had to put their life at stake. The whole story. Why? See, if the Romans wanted there was a problem with going, whatever it was, is they had to put their life at stake. So because of that, they said you can never nullify it. But normal decree, even though it's spread, you can cancel if you're greater. If you're greater. So what are the rules of Tosis? Let's go over what is the conclusion of Tosis. Very important. Yes. If they want to before quick, what do you want to say? What's your question?
What was the Avamina that you can't? If it's Gadol of Avamina, we knew that. So what was the question?
We're changing that. We're changing that the format. We say that any decree that has been spread, you could nullify it if you're greater than the one who made the decree in numbers and wisdom.
So what was the Avamina not? Why not?
Because the Gemara says the 18 Xeros, because we're spread, you can then nullify it even if the lie is even greater, even if Yoav no becomes. So now we're saying no, it's not true. You didn't understand the Gemara well. Although the Gemara says by the 18 decrees, even if life would come, we're not able to because it was spread. It's not because it was spread. It was spread, and there's another reason that to put the life on it, the sword, the base of this. So because of that, there's two reasons that it was spread and to put the life. But any other decree that has been spread, you could nullify it if you have court greater than the original ones, greater in numbers and wisdom. 1 second. But if was not spread, even a lower court can cancel. So we have now 3 categories. We have was spread and had to put the life on it, you can never nullify it. Even if you have court greater than numbers and wisdom, gadol b'minyan v'chokhmah. That's one type. That's the 18 itches dovo. The 18 decrees that the rabbi, the student of Shammai Sidel did in Masechet Shabbos. And you have a decree that was spread, but they didn't put their life on it. A later court can cancel it if it's greater than the original court in numbers and in wisdom. B'minyan v'chokhmah. And if it is spread, so an even lower court can cancel. And bread and oil, bread of goyim and oil of goyim, is one of those decrees that wasn't spread. Therefore, you'll have to nullify it. Clear? This is the conclusion. Yes, what do you want to ask about? I can't hear.
Spread by force.
That to put the life on it.
That's strict. Shouldn't that weaken it?
No. Because if the rabbis saw that they have to put the life on it, they didn't want to cancel it as a waste. Not because they didn't have to put the life because to force the people. That would like cause that then because they were in danger of goyim, in danger of an external problem. It looks like it. That's why my understanding.
In other words, it was all the more natural except to Gezerah.
Yes, correct. So they didn't want to weaken it, so they said you can nullify it. But decrees that was only spread, but wasn't, they didn't put the life stake on it. They didn't put the life on it. So then you need basic greater, and if it wasn't spread, even lower basic. This is the conclusion of Tosfos. This is the way Rabbi Elchanan learned in Yerushalmi. Mitoch Gisas Asforim. He had many books of Yerushalmi, and he found the proper one, and he thinks that's the proper Girsa, the proper version. Shemotze Besforim Yeshonim, he found on old books. The Kol Ma'arova Mesharshi Amata. Mesharshi is what's the reason? Mashma Shemisham Matchila Terutz. There the ends of the Gemara starts. Yerushalmi. The Ache Berusha. This is what it means. The Shmaitim. Rabbeinu Nasiya Eichi Yolin Mishrei. How? This is the explanation of our Gemara. How can Rabbeinu Nasi Nasiya? How can Eichi Yolin Mishrei? Where's his strength to permit? That based in a court cannot nullify unless it's greater. Even if it's greater, it's one of the 18 things. Cannot nullify it. He didn't explain why of the 18 things you cannot nullify. He partial to it simple that I have to put the life on it. Everybody knows the story, the history. Mashani the Gemara answers. The 18 wasn't just because they put the life on it, it was a spread. The fika based in an even greater court cannot nullify for spread and put the life on. The shaman and oil loy poshat, they put the life but wasn't spread. Therefore, even by oil and bread, they put the soul on it but wasn't spread. Katan, even minor. You can nullify it.
So this is a fourth level. This last sentence made that another thing that we didn't know.
Yes. You have spread and put the life on it. You have put the life and not spread. You have not put the life and not spread. That's the easiest. They say when I have put the life on but wasn't spread, even a minor court can nullify it. Koton Yochel Batloi. The Somchu, they rely on Rav Shimon Gamliel that says, and Goizri, they rely that originally court wasn't allowed to make the decree unless they estimate that it would be accepted. And they found it to be wrong. The estimation was wrong. Velefika Chuta therefore permitted Ava Bezin court and even by a small court. But like surely, other things. Afki poshtu, even though it was spread, Yochol Bezin Gadol, a big court could levatel nullify it. But if you have something, a decree that was spread, but they didn't put the life on it, and a later court which is greater can nullify it. That's why by Prusbul, Shmuel said, Hashem will give me strength. There will be greater numbers and wisdom from Hillel, Batlina will nullify it. Raman Bishop Poshan, even though it's spread. Ayushalmi, the Perek Shabbos, that's what this one says in Ushalmi. Omar Rabbi Buna Rabbi Yehuda B'Shem Shmuel lo yishonu lechutz nitchesdom. Only decree which are part of the 18 things. But nitchesdom by 18 things are feeling godel even greater. Eino mevatel mipnei shodem nafshel because they was course on their life. Pirush imashenotzu they had to press cherev a sword beis medrash to force it. Okay. So those are the rules we have. We have, Toysa says, Toysa's conclusion is that it's not because you don't need two things. You don't need, the first answer wasn't spread and the congregation couldn't hold on. Toysa says it's hard. Why didn't it hold on? It's very easy to hold on to by Prusbul. So Toysa says no. It's not a problem that it wasn't spread because it was hard, is Adarabe. If it was spread and they put the life on it, like the Yerushalmi, you cannot nullify it even be greater. But if you put your life on it, it wasn't spread like oil and bread, it's a smaller court can nullify it. And if it wasn't spread and you put the life on it, surely a smaller court can nullify it. That's all. And Prusbul is something which spread, but didn't put the life on it. Right? So if it spread and then you put the life on it, it's good if a greater court will nullify it. It's a spread. But if it was spread and they put the life, an even greater court cannot again. So we have spread and they put the life on it, you can never nullify it. Put the life and not spread, smaller court can nullify it. Yes, but if it was spread and didn't put a life on it, like Prusbul, a greater court can nullify it. And if it wasn't spread and didn't put a life on it, surely a smaller court can nullify it. So where I put oil and bread and where I put Prusbul. Oil and bread is they put the life on it but wasn't spread. So that's why a lower court can nullify it. But if it was spread but didn't put a life on it, you need a greater court, like Shmuel says. If I was greater, I was able to nullify. But he's not greater, so he couldn't nullify it. So
Shemen and oil is the same category, like spread. Like cherev without spread. Yes,
Shemen and oil is they put the sword, but it wasn't spread. So it's small court can't nullify it. Right? If it wasn't spread and didn't put the life, so a small court can nullify it. Even if they put the life and it wasn't spread, a small court can nullify it. But if it was spread without putting the life on it, you need a greater court. And if you had, it works. But if it was spread and they put the life on it, even a greater court cannot nullify it.
I want just to say.
Yes, go ahead and say.
I say they should trust in Hashem if the reality was that they stopped giving money. They stopped giving money. So why he says, I will levant why? Like the reality is they stopped giving money. They should trust in Hashem. They want to. And I'm Israeli in psychology, so they won't give money to the
wouldn't lend money.
Yeah. So how was it? I will.
Shmuel said. Yeah. Shmuel said I have strength bigger than Shmuel than Hillel nullified.
Stasis. The Kushian stasis. It says how Prusbul it's letovat amali. No.
And it makes sense that it's spread.
Yeah.
So why if it's spread, even greater court cannot nullify it. It says no. If it's spread, a greater court can nullify it, and only when they cannot, when they put the life on it. If anyone showed me that was a special 18 things. Not only 18 things were spread, they put the life on it. But it was just time spread like Puzbu, and then they put the life on it. They can nullify it if the greater court. But if they put the life wasn't spread, or stam wasn't spread, so even the smaller court can nullify it. And bread and oil, bread of goyim and olive goyim, was not spread, even they put the life on it. That's why the smaller court of Rabbi Nasiya, the Amoyro, was able to nullify it. So what's important for us is what is our subject, our sugya? Our sugya is bread of goyim. That's what we're learning now. Okay, versus bread of goyim versus cooked food of goyim. This is our sugya. That's what we're going to deal. But in the meantime, I wanted to know why was bread, or not why, how bread had the ability to nullify it. The Gemara said oil had the power to nullify it. Tosha says oil and bread is the same. Okay? Oil and bread are the same. The question is, if bread was not spread, why cooked food was spread? So you have to say bread is something more sustainable. You have to live on it. So that the Jewish people was too hard. They couldn't accept it. That's what wasn't spread.
Now, bread, you put it in the stove, cooking film, you do a mice, you put it in, and then the thing. When she cook, you always have to come and do it. It's more scavenged.
Bread, you put it in the oven, you close the oven, and you go away. Come back. And put it in cooking.
No, you always have to check.
In bread, you have to check all the time if it's burned or not.
But cooking, you have to always, it's more.
Oh, you have to be busy with it?
More mice.
I don't know. I would say it depends on the type of food. I don't know. That's a different story. Bread is more simple, and cooking is more special. You have to be more, you call it a chef. Chef, you have to be a chef. For bread, you don't have to be a chef. Only lately, they talked about conditoria. You have to be a conditor. You have to have a license. You have to have a paper. Right? Yes, but really, only cooking you have to be a chef. Bread, maybe pastries, but not bread.
You make cake, not bread.
Yeah, not bread. Bread is simple.
And that is not
Okay, we have to talk about also pastries are part of bread or not. When we said I nullified the decree of bread, what about pastries as part of it? What about bread, which is only 5 grains? What about if it's made out of rice and dochan and other things? Spell, what else? We deal with it. Legumes, sesames. I saw somebody, Arabs make bread out of, in Yemen, they make bread out of olives. You know that? Yes.
I see bread.
In Yemen and Oman. Oman is a country next to Yemen. I had a guy here in Yeshiva from Canada. He said he had a very good friend in the Arab Emirates and in Oman. And he taught him how to make bread out of olives. They make bread out of olives. Olives, yes. Zaitin. Yes.
How's it possible? It's pure oil, liquid.
No, olive itself. They break the olives. They make flour out of olives. No, without squeezing. They dry it out, and they make flour out of it. And they add stuff on it, and it becomes their bread. They eat bread made out of olives. Bread out of sesame. I ate bread out of sesame. My wife did one time. We had a diet. We ate bread out of sesame.
So why can't we answer the question of Toysor? The thesis.
Yes.
Maybe we can say because the reason of Shmuel answer. Shmuel says, I eat mevatel. So
Why? Because as a court,
trust in Hashem. No.
trust in Hashem, yes? No.
Okay, so the people know the Torah, they read Tashliit, Tashlitero. And he gives money, and now but the basic, no, don't worry, it's okay. So maybe the people has fear a little bit of the Torah.
Rabbi, you forgot the reality of the Jewish people. Come on.
With $600,
Come on, come on.
Okay.
The Jewish people that went to exile are full of problems. Come on. Alavai. Too much in yeshiva. They have to put you to live in the street.
How's one?
Okay.
Right.
He wanted
Why?
because he held that's a bypass. I know. Oh, you see, he didn't do it.
Yeah, I know.
Couldn't do it. You have to learn why. Now I want to read the Rambam. The Rambam question is, Reb Shlomo, how can we give it out to people? Print to people. Really, it's a couple of halachos, and it goes. There's a whole chapter. The whole chapter is about this subject. It's a couple of pages. I think rather I'm not going to do it now because it's already 10 o'clock. We have to print the other type of Rambam, which is one page. I have to have it somewhere. So the Rambam has a little bit of different observation, how to learn the Sugya. So I would just read by heart, just as a start. The Rambam in Perik Beis in Ilchos Mamrim. Mamrim is it talks about somebody goes against court. The Beis makes a decree, and another Beis wants to fight them. It's considered a rebellious court, and you kill them. Or a single rabbi against court. It's called Mamre. You have Zoken Mamre, an elderly Mamre. It wasn't a sheet, and I don't see it here. When I had the sheets last Zman, was inside. Somehow they didn't bring it in, or they missed it out on one page or something. When they printed it, they missed it. But part of the papers was the same. So all I will look in the papers, missed one page. When they pressed the button to print it, I think they missed the Rambam. Okay, so I'll print it out tomorrow or today. If not, we're going to print this Rambam. But it's good to see the whole chapter. But anyhow, the Rambam says that one court cannot nullify the other unless they're greater in wisdom and numbers. Okay? He says, Bamed Dvorim Amurim. I'm reading chapter 2, verse Aloha Gimel. Bamed Dvorim Amurim is Ilchos Mamrim Perek Beis Aloha. Bamed Dvorim Amurim. What are we dealing with? Bedvorim Shelo Osu Oisam Kedelasoi Siag Latoim. Elo Keshadin Latoim. He says, if the decree of the rabbi was like any law, they made a law, another law, but it's not to protect the Torah, it's just to protect the people or another law. So then you cannot nullify unless you greater numbers and wisdom. But things which are based sought to be decreed. And to prohibit to make a boundaries that people will not siyag. They made a boundaries, a railing. People should not fall and break the Torah. The Rambam in Halochet this brings a very long example. Basar v'cholo. Basar v'cholo from the Torah is what? Meat. What about chicken? What about animal? Wild animal? The Rabbanon. The decree said if you eat chicken, you might eat this. So there it's a siyag. The rabbi said prohibit this in order should not fall on. They made boundaries to not to break the Torah law. So he says when Beis Din prohibit a siyag, so it depends. In Posha D'Isur B'Chol Yisrael, if the decree was spread all over the Jewish people, and Beis Din Acher Yachol. No other court could to uproot the Latin and permit a filo of Godom in Arishonim, even greater than all. Instead of saying like Toy says, they put the life on, when they put the life on, makes a different rule. If it was spread and the decree was a siyag, means a boundary that should fall and break the Torah. They made a buffer, a protector. to protect the Torah. The decree is in order to protect the Torah, that the Torah rules should not fall. There, when it spreads, you can never nullify it. And the 18 things, including bread and including oil of goyim, was to protect the Torah. You should not marry the daughters, etc. So you should protect the rules of the Torah. So it's a siyag. When it's a siyag and it's spread, right, Wuzbul, the Choyer is also siyag. They wanted to give over the debts to court. Sheep that the people want, people won't lend. If people won't lend, they won't do it. So if they lend and they didn't know if it would be Isu. And that, so there was not a siyag. Just that sheep people should not prevent them lending. Now that people should not lend and collect. No, the people who lend and collect, they do an Isu. So we give over there. That wasn't the story. It was people stop lending. So there, that's Puzbul, that wasn't a siyag. Wasn't a protection of the Torah. It's just protection of the people. But when the decree is a protection of the Torah and is being spread, even a greater court can never nullify it. This is the pshat of the Rambam. So we have to see inside, Mishnah, whatever it is. Tomorrow we're going to know a little bit more of it. And continue on. The shloko is the difference between cooked food and baked food. That's really our goal, okay? The whole chapter in second Aloha Perek Beis and Mamrin. Ilchois Mamrin. You heard about this concept, Mamrin? Zokan Mamrin, elderly that rebel against court. There's a whole Aloha is called Mamrin in Shoiftim. And its second chapter, the whole chapter speaks about it. About basically making decrees when you can nullify, we cannot nullify. There is 9 laws in it. It's pretty long, but it's important. Gives us the rules according to his observation. Yes, Vince, right. Okay. Rabbi Hanania ben Akash roi meroץ הקדוש ברוך הוא. זרק בצורה לפניקה. יהיה ויותר שנאמר. אני לא יכול בעצם להציץ בזה טרור וידיר. אל מסגני